So I'm going to show you a little video that pertains to what I do. So obviously I'm a portrait photographer. I create memories for people, pets, and professionals. So here it is.
Can you kill the lights?
I'm glad you enjoyed that. So I did feature a lot of people in WRN because I thought that would be fun to do. And that, if you didn't hear me, that was Janet Rafoa's son, and that just got recently engaged, right? With his fiance, beautiful fiance. So, okay, my business is camera creations. I have a portrait studio on South San Vicente, that's South San Vicente and 5th Street. And I welcome you all to come and visit me there. So I want to cover just sort of 3 points today, and that has to do with professional portrait photography and the impact that it has in our lives. So first, I guess I have the next slide, because that's just about me, right? Briefly, I grew up on the East Coast. I'm currently married. I love the arts and nature, and I was an international ballet dancer for 13 years. And there you go. So this is the areas I want to cover. The portrait photography, there are 3 things, right? It inspires family memories. It informs your clients, for professionals, who you are and what you stand for. And then it reminds us of important events and special pets in our lives. And those were the things I featured in the video. Okay, so as far as family memories are concerned, I know from actual experience and then also from reading about how important photos are for children as they're growing up to actually have portraits done of the family, because it gives children a sense of history, and it gives them also a sense of belonging and understanding the importance that they have within the family. And especially when they see those family albums throughout the years and they look at them with the family, you can tell stories, sit down with the children, and they really relate to that. And that, again, it gives them a sense of belonging. There's also having the family portraits on the walls so that children pass by and they see them, and time and time again, they're reminded that they belong with the family. So the portraits for family that's done by a professional photographer differs from cell phones, of course, and they differ in the fact that I can present really quality imagery. I also create connections between the people by the way I pose them, have them the clothing that I advise them to have, so that it doesn't look like they're all wearing different kinds of clothes, as far as like stripes and polka dots and t-shirts. And we try and get them in all similar colors, and it gives a uniform look, and it really makes a huge difference. And I do that kind of I give that kind of advice as far as like, let's see, I ask people, what's your style? I ask them, like, what kind of imagery do you like? Do you like posed imagery? Do you like something that's just very casual? And so I have an idea before I start a session, through a consultation, all those different things like clothing. I'm a little nervous, sorry, I lost the shoes, all of my shoes. So it's a little, what do you call it? Discombobulated? Yeah, this is a good one. Anyway, so that's something that I wanted to emphasize, is just the care that I take before a family portrait session. It makes a huge difference in the outcome of the session. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so now this one also is very important. This part of my portrait photography are what I do for professionals. For my clients that actually have businesses. You all have websites, right? Most of you have a website, I assume, right? And you know how important that is. The first thing that people see, or it helps to draw people into your website, is the imagery. And then they go forward reading the text. So you want to have really a compelling imagery. And if you're a solopreneur, you really want to have something that's a great headshot that represents you, your personality, and what you stand for again in the business. So that is something that I do, either at the studio or I go on location for sessions of that nature. And I help you to bring out your personality in your photo. So the next area that I cover here are events and pets. And events are, covered by a professional photographer for many different reasons. One, you'll have quality imagery. Two, you'll make sure you have those images, and so that somebody, doesn't forget your cell phone on the table where they're having a drink. Or also, you yourself, who's holding the event, can actually enjoy the event by drinking a little too much, eating a little too much, and maybe, just knowing that you're going to be able to see those images afterwards. You're going to be able to see the parts of the party that you might have missed because you were enjoying yourself and socializing. So you're sure to have that. So there are different kinds of events that I cover: bat mitzvahs, weddings, birthday parties, corporate events, gallery openings, all those kinds of things. And then finally, they're the pets that you saw in the photos. I love photographing pets. You're aware that pets, everybody's aware how important pets are to our lives. They help us just in every aspect of our day, emotionally and physically. And so we might as well value those relationships and honor them with a pet photo session. And you could also do it with, as I showed some of the images I have, with your family. You can include them with your family in a pet session. So all those kinds of things, all my sessions, even whether they're family portraits or business headshots, I give consultations beforehand. And it's always the same thing: finding out your style, what you like, advising you on clothing. Makeup is also another important thing that people sometimes forget, but it's very, very important. It makes a huge difference in the look. So I have something coming up here, a special for the month of February only. And if you schedule your headshot at the studio with a friend, and each of you will only pay $1.99. So that's two. So the kind of Valentine-like situation, come two together, and each of you will pay $1.99. Normally the sessions are now $3.35, and they just have to be scheduled back to back and paid in advance so that you book the date. So, and that's it. I think that's it. Any questions?
Who's your best client?
Who's my best client? Okay. Well, the best client is someone who values photography. When they come in, I know that they're serious, and so they could either be a professional that wants to have a business headshot, and they know how important that is, and they like to upgrade every 2 years, because in theory that's the best thing, because you change a little bit and you want to keep those headshots up to date. And then there's the family, or usually the mother, that really values photography and knows the importance of those images, not just the quality of a pretty professional photography session, photo, but also the fact that their children are going to behave for a stranger, and then they want to buy prints because they like the prints, the albums. They just don't want to have digital files to stick on the computer, forget about them. So those are kind of the clients that are willing to know the value, so they want to spend the money because they value photography, right? So, okay, anything else? So, Dion?
I have a horse. Would you come to the barn and shoot pictures?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Because I think I could also probably get a few other people at the barn coming to do headshots with their related friends.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Big heads, yeah. Big headshots. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Okay.
Casey had a question.
Casey has a question. Jocelyn has a testimony like those.
Quick question. What ballet company you worked with, and what was your favorite role?
Oh, God. Okay. Well, I worked for Zurich Ballet, Ballet de Monte Carlo, Los Angeles Ballet when it was director John Clifford. Ballet de Monte Carlo is the most fun I had. We traveled around the world, but Balanchine is my favorite choreographer. I guess Concerto Barocco is my favorite ballet.
Let's hear it for our photographer extraordinaire, Miss Julie Hopkins. Who's in my